came out one day and I walk out the door and there's one guy out there, and I'm from Tennessee. You ever seen a dog with his tail between his legs? Look, body language is down. He looked like that. He was struggling. And I said, dude, what's wrong? What is up with you? And he goes, well, I just had to come by and see somebody. He said, I know you went bankrupt a few years ago, and I know you know how it feels to fail. And man, he goes, I just had a horrible time. He said, I just had to talk to somebody that would understand, and I filed bankruptcy this morning. Oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. I said, what happened? He said, well, I was cutting grass in high school. I was making so much money. I just came out of high school and kept cutting grass, and then I added crews, and then I added a landscape architect to my team, and I added leadership to my team, and we grew, and we did these things, and we changed these things around, and we started doing, full subdivisions with the plantings and not just cutting grass anymore. We're a full-on landscape and irrigation company, and it grew and grew and grew and grew. And I said, what happened? And he said, well, 2008 happened, Builders quit building, and the ones that were building weren't paying. And he goes, I couldn't get anybody to pay me. He said, I had all these equipment and all this payroll, and he said, I couldn't get my money in. And he goes, the whole thing just caved in on me. How old are you? He said, I'm 26. So what was your best year ever profit that you took home? He goes, my best year ever, I made $210,000. I said, dude, that's a lot of bushes. You know what? You have now ridden this bicycle. You know what it feels like to balance a $210,000 bicycle. Most people never even get to ride that bike. So I'll give you a prediction. By the time you're 31, you'll be running something that size again. If you don't sit around and suck your thumb and make this your defining moment. This is not your defining moment. This is the time the bicycle wrecked. It's not the time you forgot how to ride one. I kid you not, 2 hours later, I'm still on the air. I do a 3-hour show for those of you that listen for 18 minutes. I come out at the break in the 3rd hour. There's one guy in the lobby, and he's bouncing off the walls like the ever-ready bunny on Red Bull. This guy he's like Snoopy, life is good, Got the dance going, the whole thing. You know what I'm talking about, right? And I'm like, dude, what is going on? He goes, I just had to come by. You've had such success. He said, and it's hard, your friends, when you're successful. Sometimes your friends don't understand, and most of your family doesn't. And he goes, there's nobody you can talk to about it when you're winning. He said, so I know you've been winning, and I just want to come by and tell you I'm winning. I had to have somebody celebrate with me. I said, what's going on? He goes, man, I made more money this year than I ever made in my whole life. I said, what do you do for a living? He said, I'm in the landscaping business. I said, where? Right here in this community. I said, you wouldn't believe the irony of this. 2 hours ago, there was a guy in here who had built a big landscaping business, and he was completely bankrupt. And you're saying, in the same economy, in the same neighborhood, in the exact same space, the exact same industry, you're having the best year of your life. I do not understand. And he goes, I know, it's been hard on those guys. I've been buying their equipment at pennies on the dollar. I said, what are you talking about? I said, the builders aren't paying their bills. The economy's bad. Don't you know the bad news? He goes, oh yeah, they're paying their bills. I said, what do you mean? I said, if they want my landscaping, they pay up front. Oh, how much? All of it, because the other people aren't showing up because they're broke. I'm last man left standing. He said, my market share has tripled this year. I love the down economy. It prunes the tree, baby. Ouch. Same space, same moment in time, same region, same industry. One's bankrupt and one's having the best year of his life. The only variable that's determinable, and the only data point that's obvious that's different is the person. You're limited not by the economy. You're limited by what's between your ears. It's your fault. It's my fault. It's got everything to do with whether I did something, whether my team did something, whether we interfaced with our customer in a proper manner, served them, changed their life, transformed their life so that they tell all their friends, do business with Ramsey Solutions because we're awesome. Something you never say about the DMV. You got to bring it. It's hard sometimes. It's scary most of the time. But if you'll just lead anyway, if you'll rise up, you'll be amazed at what happens. Organizations are never limited by their team. They're limited by their leader. I often talk to these guys and around entree leadership stuff like this, and I run up to him and he goes, well, you don't understand, Dave. You're in a white collar space. You don't have to deal with the labor pool I got to deal with. You don't understand about my team, Dave. My team's not like your team. Yeah, you know why? You hired them. Worse than that, you kept them. It's your fault. You lowered the standards for the level of humanity you will allow in your organization, and then can't figure out why your customers are pissed off working with people that half but care. I'd rather work it by myself until I can find somebody that cares. Find somebody that cares. Don't lower your standards. Well, you don't understand. Hey, let me tell you. Here's how it goes down. Looks like this. Pulling up in front of the Ramsey house while Dave's at work. There's a guy there to fix the heat and air. Now, one of these guys comes up in a truck that hadn't been washed. It's got the name on the side, sorta. Doesn't have enough parts or tools on the truck to do the job. Gets out, half his shirt's untucked, and he looks like a homeless guy. Knocks on the door, tracks mud into my house. Doesn't bother me, but don't do that to Sharon. You'll be on a mad hillbilly woman's list for the rest of your life. Wanders down, finds the location where the heating and air is, fixes it, leaves parts laying in the floor and boxes laying on the floor, tracks mud back to the thing. An hour later, the heat and air is not working again. Or, from the same labor pool, from the exact same industry, a guy pulls up in a truck that's clean, not perfect, but clean. He's clean and has bathed and shaved. His shirt is tucked in, has his name on it, so we know he's there from a company. He's not there for other reasons that aren't going to turn out good for him, because my wife carries. When he gets to the door, he steps back 2 steps after ringing so that his presence is not intimidating to the lady of the house, which is also wise. He says, Miss Ramsey, can I come in, please? Yes. And you know what he does? He reaches over and puts booties on, paper over his shoes, like he's going into surgery. He don't even have to fix anything. He's already won the business. Follow me? Not only does he go downstairs and fix it, not only does he leave the room better than he found it with no parts left, an hour and a half later, he calls back and says, Miss Ramsey, I just want to do a follow-up call and make sure your heating and air is working. When my wife is in her running group, the little herd she runs with down at the Y, who do you think she's going to recommend? Oh, but the economy put me out of business. No, you hired doofuses and kept them and sent them to your customer and then blamed your failure on the economy. Don't do that. A little smile, a little sense of I actually care about what's happening here, and everything changes.